the byproduct of working out and training is, your physique and your health improves. But for me, I work out because of the mental side of things, mental clarity, just hey, I just kicked my ass in this really tough workout. I can literally conquer anything now.
Yeah. No, exercise has been, and I was just having another conversation the other day, and every time that I ran from something, I went to athletics. But now every time I go through something, I still go to fitness. But the transition came from a different understanding of myself and researching all the other stories of people who have had it way worse and are doing way better, or the people who still have it worse and are still more grateful to me. When you understand what's possible, you train differently. If you know somebody can do it, you train and you aim for that goal. First time, I forget what year it was, but what book was it? Talks about the dude who ran the 5-minute mile.
Yes, yeah. And
then like 17 high schoolers ran the 5-minute mile that
right
year.
After him, yeah, because it always seemed it was thought to be impossible,
scientifically impossible.
Yeah, but then he did it, and then like you said, like 20 people did it to him that same year.
So it's like that's just what the mind does, and that comes from a self-belief. But fitness not only shows you that you give a damn about yourself. When you expand your comfort zone, you have to be present because you're unfamiliar. When you're comfortable, your mind can wander. Future, past, I don't have enough, depression, anxiety. When you're uncomfortable, you have to think about who you are and who you want to be to get through this. So when you're exercising, you're doing cardio, you're tired. When you're training, when you're fighting, when you're lifting heavy weights, you have to be like, okay, I have to focus on this right now. You can't think about shit else, especially when you play sports, you get in the zone. Some people dance and paint, and they get in the zone. Nothing can penetrate their focus and their flow. So everybody should find what that is. For me, it's fitness.
Well, yeah, for us, it's been that, but then this podcast, like having conversations, talking with awesome people just like you. But I mean, our phones are shut off because normally we're recording on Wednesdays and we'll go back to back. We'll go for an hour and 15 with our guests, and we'll take a little bit of a break. But our phones are off, and we're just sitting here having cool, awesome conversations with unique people that everyone has a story to tell, and we're just letting them tell it here. And it's just so many different perspectives and things like that. It's just, this is something else that's really helped us on the emotional side of things.
Yeah, man. Now that you say that, it's hard to, when you're doing it every day, it's hard to see how much you've grown. And that's the importance of reflection. I'm sure you guys look at your first episode and we're like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
Like, damn.
Yes.
That's the first episode of anything.
Right.
A new language, a new skill, a new country, new relationship. It's always, the first part. And that's the importance of doing the work, because when you get in somewhere new, you don't want to put up a facade because that shit going to be shut down soon.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into a relationship and be somebody you're not. You don't want to go to work and get your promotion and wear a tie for 1 month when you never wear a tie, because eventually you're going to be someone you're not. You're going to be farther and farther from your truth, and being able to have the conversations, one, it allows you to see that you're not the only one. It allows you to get feedback from others and feel value in your story because it's helping other people. So then it becomes more okay to talk about it. It took years. I was letting out pieces here and there. I didn't want to talk about felony, injuries, dropout, addiction, my dad, my brother. I didn't want to talk about that shit. I was just talking about choose yourself, y'all. Choose yourself. Don't ask me what happened.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I got here. Don't even ask me. Just do it. Trust me. It works.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure once you did that, once you kind of came out about your past and everything, it probably made you so much more relatable and therefore much more successful, if I'm not mistaken.
And I think last year, when we started last year, we got like 25 episodes. But when we started the podcast, it's been a year or two, I wasn't telling my story online. And I had 15,000 followers. And so as I started telling more of my story, followers went up. People want to hear that. People want to hear about that their struggles are not either as bad or it's okay. It's part of life. And they want to hear that there's a light at the end of the tunnel as well.
Yeah, well, it's relatable. People can see themselves in you. And I mean, that's what people ultimately are going to come back to.
Yeah, and that's the conversation piece you're talking about, man. Talk to somebody. If you don't have anybody, join a group, a community. Like, those things are powerful. My dad runs a sober community for 14 years, and he has these conversations with people who are going through it all the time. We keep it, his brother has a liquor company, the one that I was with. And so we're like, hey, you want to recover? Go to my dad. You want to relapse? Go to my uncle. We're going to keep it in the family.
We got you both covered.
And that's what I did. I'm like, I got your growth and I got your celebration. Come on with it. Find your balance. I got it for my family.
Yeah.
But having those conversations, and that's really what helped me pull out of my dark place when I first started with my uncle. I started to dabble back into the party scene. My sales weren't as high in the first 60 days. Expenses were through the roof. Lifts. I'm going to parties at 4 a.m. My uncle's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, there's a buyer in Minnetonka. I'm supposed to bring some samples over." He's like, "Stop doing that shit."
Yeah.
And eventually he's like, "Yo, if you don't change, I gotta let you go." And so what I did when I had to start waking up at 9 a.m. instead of 1 p.m., I would wake up, alarm would go off, and then I would hit a YouTube video of Goggins or Eric Thomas or some motivational, and I'd let it play on my pillow, and I'd be asleep. He'd say something like, "You ain't got what you want. You want to be a man. You think you." I'm like, "Fuck, I'm going to get up."
Fuck,
Silence
yeah.
the bitch
I'm like,
voice.
"Fuck." I'm like, "Okay, fine." And after like a couple weeks, I'm like, "How did that happen?" That's a video that's on there forever. I don't even know that dude. And he triggered something in me to get me up and get after it, and that stayed throughout the day. And I was like, I want to be that for people. So that's when I started doing content. But when I first started saying content, it was from the mindset of the person I wanted to be. But I wasn't quite that person yet, offline. So when I would say online, get up, get your shit done, finish the day, do your tasks, eat healthy. And then the whole week I'd be partying Thursday to Sunday. Then do motivational Monday to Thursdays. It was like 2018. I start to feel guilty, my integrity, my authenticity. And then I would start to change. It would be Friday, Saturday only. And it was just Friday. And then it was none. And so voicing into the universe what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, knowing people were watching, knowing I had to be there again on Monday without staying out late. I know I got to be there Monday. You got people waiting for my videos. So it was me. It was an integrity loop.
Holding you accountable.
But you had to voice it. You had to voice it. And so that's the importance of having these conversations, man. You got to talk about it, see what's important to you, and you know, see how important you are to others.
If someone listening was battling with addiction, you know, what do you think would be a good piece of advice for them?
Start small. Pick a day. Stop the mornings. You want to stop vaping? Take an hour. You want to stop drinking? Just wait 1 more hour. Let that be easy.
One more.
1 more hour. One more sip. 1 more second. You know, you want to stop anything. Like I used to vape. I used to pill, drug, liquor, god dang, Black and Miles, coffee, women, dating, like all that. You know, one thing I didn't do was I was never addicted to porn because I always had women around. but I get it. You know,
right.
that release, the emotion release. I mean, it's a huge problem now with our younger kids too.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking them up.
It's just so easy for them to access,
and they be fine too.
Yeah,
they be fine as hell. Now you see a great woman who's an 8, but she not fine enough because the ass ain't shaking like it was online. Now you all messed up. Your dopamine release all messed up. You can't even get high no more. My friend left his girlfriend's house to go beat his dick.
Really?
I said, what? That's not your girlfriend.
No.
That's your support system.
Yeah. Wow.
Not your girlfriend. I said, boy, he tripping. So when he told me that was one of the first times I was like, damn, that's a real problem. Because that's somebody in my circle dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
I think that's something that so many men struggle with. And it's obviously not something that most people are comfortable talking about.
Yeah, no, I talk about it often online. You know, I tell people, just pick a day, 1 day a week. I say that for anything you like. Try to get to 1 day. First, the goal is to strip down of everything. Can you go 30 days with no sugar, liquor, weed, porn, nicotine, caffeine, no fried food, no junk food? I did that for the first time ever in December for 25 days, but I had a WhatsApp group of 70 people that I acquired from online.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that group shifted in that challenge was just so inspirational. Because at first, like, oh, this sucks. I need coffee. I need pre-workout. I struggled with pre-workout. That was hard. That was the hardest thing, was no pre-workout and workout.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for 14 years, you know?
Sure, yeah.
But shorty quit Adderall. A bunch of people quit vaping. Somebody quit cigarettes. And I'm like, these are things that people are saying they never could do. But when you are in a group of people who are struggling, just sending quotes, like voice notes, like, hey, you can do it. We can do it 1 more day. Then you're not alone when you are alone.
Right. And it's holding you accountable to those decisions, and you don't want to let those people down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I say strip free, gradually strip free, and then find your balance. You know, some people can't go back to sugar because they got diabetes. Some people can't go to liquor because they just can't drink. You know, they're not drinkers. Some people can't go to a damn casino without spending all their money. You know, but find your balance in what hedonic vices, what instant gratification, comfort, convenience can you look forward to? It's not about pulling away from it. You can look forward to it. We're about to have some drinks after this.
Yeah.
But what did I do all week? Woke up at 3, burned 1,000 calories twice, worked out every day, hit the sauna, cold shower, went to sleep on time, stayed intentional with my gut, with my recovery system. So now I'm ready for this. And then tomorrow, same thing. You bracket your celebration with intention. Well, celebration is also intention, but you bracket your celebration with recovery. But, so start small. Start small. If you trying to quit smoking weed, wait an hour. Trying to quit, nicotine or alcohol or, the victim's mentality, that's different. The victim mentality and self-neglection, stuff like that, that's a whole umbrella of things. When we're talking about vices, sugar, liquor, weed, porn, nicotine, caffeine, start small. Start small.
Yeah, there was one book that I read. You guys know who Josh Hamilton is? Is baseball player,
Baseball player,
got addicted to meth and all that stuff. First overall pick years ago, and then lost it all to drugs. And then was comeback player of the year and completely changed his life. He wrote a book, and one of the things that he talks about with addiction when he was fighting it was his counselor or therapist, whatever it was do you know what box breathing is?
Yeah, 4-4-4.
Yeah.
4, yep.
So he was saying, he's like, whenever I felt like I needed it, I had to do 8 box breathing breaths.
Mm.
And he's like, by the time you're done with that, and you're so focused on your breathing that you no longer feel that addiction or feel that need to get that fix. And that was something that I always kind of took into account too. I mean, I still chew tobacco. It's a baseball thing. Like, I don't know. For me, it's relaxing. I enjoy it. And should I quit? Yeah, probably. But I mean, it's not for me. I feel like it's not something that, it's not hurting me. I mean, I can make all the excuses or say all the stuff I want, but if there's times where, I know that I'm like, all right, I'm not going to have it, but I feel that kick and I'll do the box breathing. And as soon as I'm done with the box breathing, all right, I'm done. I'm moved on. I don't need it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, there's
so many ways to do that. It's just
and you can find nothing
whatever works for everybody.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. And if you are one that needs pre-workout, you need coffee, you need to smoke, do your thing, man.
Moderation.
Yeah, everything in moderation. Yeah. Everything, even water.
Now, what's training look like for you?
Or workouts,
yeah, fitness,
exercise.
What's your?
I do
like?
upper, lower, full, upper, lower, full.
6 days.
Yep, and then Sunday will be stretch, sauna, cardio, core. So that's I've been doing that for a while. I've been looking to maybe switch it up and do one muscle group per week. One muscle group per week.
Or per day or week?
Per week.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like just
Really?
shoulders only Monday.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So doing that, but yeah, usually I'll stretch. I wake up. A perfect foundation would be wake up at 3, go to sleep at 8. Right now I'm reading Money Come Dance With Me. It's a book that my manager gave to me about switching your mindset around money and attracting money and doing that, which you always got to stay sharp, man. No matter how rich you are, how much you think you know, or how fit you are, you got to stay sharp because, like we said, the toxins and, the judgment is around.
Oh, yeah.
So 3 a.m. I'm up, hit the cold shower, brush my teeth. Then I'm in the cold shower, lotion, stretch. Then I'm right into the journal, writing my task for the day. Still haven't touched my screen. And then I get meditation, 10 minutes at least, sometimes longer depending on how much time I got. And then I get into my creation time. It's time to create them videos. So I have ideas coming out. I have a bunch of shit written down. I have like 2 notes worth. One note is so long, I can't put any more on it. Just bars and theories and rhyming words. Like I have 5 words that rhyme. Or I have like one slogan. Like one of my most viral videos is like, you make a deal with the devil won't show up as the devil because you won't make the deal.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I saw that on Instagram and I was like, so what could the devil be? And I made this whole poem from it just because that thought triggered me. And then when I watched that video back, I quit smoking weed on my own video.
That's awesome.
Wow.
My own video. I watched it on the train. I was like, God damn, the devil's weed. Damn it. The devil's in me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The devil's different for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to spit something too after this about
Oh.
the devil. But, and then, I get 4:30, I'm out, get on the train, get to the gym by 5, stretch again, cardio 15 minutes. And I usually do like 50, 60 minutes of weights. And I try to hit Trader Joe's at 8 twice a week. Otherwise I'll go home and, cook, clean. And then my first meeting is usually 9 or 10. So from 3 to 9 is myself, foundation, creation, contribution online. 9 to about 1 is my one-on-one coaching, my meetings, my podcast, Choose Yourself communities at 10. And then from 1 to 7, I'm in the streets slanging liquor. And then I'm back to it, man. And then I usually pick one. You know, I try to go out with my boys and talk shit, you know, and drink and go out, stay out late, you know, chop it up with other people, bartenders and other girls, and, you know, just
your job's
fresh,
networking, man.
Yeah.
You got to network.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can't not go out after 8. That's when everything starts cracking, you know. People invite me to events all the time, and usually I can't go. But when I can, you know, I do. So.
That's awesome.
Now, I'm fascinated with the gut.
Yeah.
Now, I'd love to hear more about your philosophy of that and kind of what knowledge you can give us on that.
Yeah, no, my mom, Mama D, man. Shout out Mama D. She had leaky gut, anxiety, depression. Like when my little brother died, it fucked her up bad. And I saw that. And she's anxiety meds, sleeping meds, depression meds, blood pressure meds. And, you know, she was going down. Protein levels weren't where they're supposed to be for like 18 months. She was on a meat diet and all this shit. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, it comes a point where you got to start taking care of your parents. And this was the time. When I moved away, I wasn't as close to her. So every time I talked to her, there was some big thing happening. Like when you see somebody every day, you don't notice them lose 10 pounds. But when you see them and 6 months later, like, what looks different?
Right.
So eventually when I started talking to her, I started noticing different tones and different, how you doing? Okay. I'm like, what the hell, what you mean? You know? And I started researching health and mind, body, spirit, and how the gut really speaks through the vagus nerve to the mind. So
it's like that gut feeling.
Gut feeling, man. It's the internal compass. Why you get butterflies. So hearing all her issues, I'm like, I got to find a solution. All of a sudden, one of my business partners, now bless her, reaches out to me with a gut repair solution. I was like, all right, fuck it. There's so many damn solutions. Let me just try one. And start researching the gut, attending these meetings, understanding the impact it has on skin, sleep, mental health, your physique, hereditary, your reproduction, your ability to have potency in your semen, your ability to produce breast milk, your ability to provide for your kids. You know, your gut is really what disperses or distributes all your nutrients. So what I've come to find out, and what now they're talking about with RFK and the mom movement, that it's toxins everywhere.
Yeah.
So gut health is at all-time low, toxins at all-time high. People getting sicker younger. People getting diabetes at 25.
Have you seen the Means brother and sister, Callie and Casey? They're doctors, but they were on Rogan, Tucker Carlson show, but talking a lot about like gut health and things like that, and just health overall, but all the plastics and stuff that are in our food. I think that would be for a good resource for you to look into.
Yeah, definitely want to tap in, but you know, so I'm like trying to figure out these products, what they do. So I started taking them. First, I noticed sleep, no midday wall. My sleep got, you know,
You started taking what?
Gut repair solutions. So there's a product that helps repair the fissures and tears in your gut lining from the toxins and stuff that's in the cell membranes of the vegetables, from the overspraying and the glyphosate, and it just tears up our microbiome. It's supposed to kill it's supposed to keep GMOs alive and kill living organisms in the farms. So when we eat it, it kills our living organisms.
Kills everything.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you know what's funny is you mentioned that on the way here, I saw a billboard saying, like, it was like for some farmers union talking about like how to protect glyphosate, protect being able to use glyphosate. And I like looked at the billboard. I'm like, you kidding me?
Damn.
Like what? Like, I mean, I guess obviously it's gonna severely impact the farming industry, because they're gonna have to kind of change the way they're doing everything, because they're just spraying poison all over the food to kill everything, to keep all the, you know, the bugs, the, you know, rodents, everything that they would eat the crops and everything. I mean, they spray that glyphosate on it so those
lasts longer.
Yeah, so it lasts longer. And yeah, but I drove by like on the way here today, and I saw like a billboard, you know, saying it was like protect our ability to use glyphosate or something like that. And I was like, I can't believe they're advertising this.
Damn.
Like they want you to
first one should put a billboard right underneath it for gut health.
Yeah. I mean, it's in Kirkwood. I mean, I literally drove by it after our closing this morning. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I like had to take a double take. I was like, is that what they're like protecting? They're like, they want to be able to use glyphosate. And
Damn.
What?
Well, they got McDonald's advertisements too. Like,
yeah.
There's gonna be a choice everywhere. But the shitty part is that a lot of us don't have a choice, because we just have to eat the food that has poison in it. Like, especially in these food desert neighborhoods and the urban neighborhoods, all you can do is eat freaking from whatever that's close to you, because you ain't got a car, you ain't got no, you know, and that's maybe by design or not. I don't know. Not my place to say, but so the products it's called Purium. There's a scientist who actually studied for 20 years to develop this product where it repairs the fissures and tears in your gut, and then there's a green shake power shake that has 7 salads worth of nutrients, none of the bullshit, none of the extra cell membranes, and then 16 phytonutrients. And then there's a protein called the aminos, the amino building blocks that actually surpass your digestive system and go into your bloodstream so you can take them without breaking a fast. They're meant to help people build muscle who can't get out the bed. So whether you want to lose weight or build muscle, it's the building blocks that we try to extract from protein. When we eat meat, we actually break down the protein into aminos. But a lot of times, if our gut health isn't at its high functionality, we can't get all the aminos. And you're stressing your gut, especially if the cow's fucked up when you killed it. So being able to give yourself fruits, vegetables, proteins, and gut repair, that's the 4 product system, the gut repair solution I'm talking about. Sent it to my mom. She been on it for like 7 months, right? She been to treatment for alcohol 4 times in the last 3 years. This is her longest time sober over this amount of time. Her sleep's back to normal, her protein levels back to normal. She's off her anxiety meds. She's off her sleeping meds. She's been on these things my whole life. Only thing that changed was I send her this box every month, and she loves the shit.
Yeah.
And all this stuff's going away. The doctor's taking her off a med. She's getting sleep. Like she had a brain tumor years back where she always had migraines, so her migraines are dissipating.
Now, is this a product that you have that you sell, or is this something that that's another subscription out there that you just set your mom up on?
No, I'm an affiliate.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So I do have a small business, but I'm an affiliate with it. You get to a certain level, you become part owner.
Gotcha.
And so, it's instead of them marketing it to the masses, it's multi-level marketing.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be interested to after we get done with this and look into that and see what we can do to get that stuff going on around here.
Yeah, man. I'm going to be on it for life. I love it.
So if you could go back when you were 19, what is 3 things you tell yourself?
Shit.
Obviously, that was kind of a pivotal time in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, 19, man. Stay humble. I was not humble. I was the best at everything all the time. And so I got privileged by teachers, my friends, the girls. Like I didn't really, and I was smart too. All my work was done. I just didn't do homework. My tests, I aced them. Speeches, presentations, group projects. When I was in school, I did it. When I was home, I wasn't worried about that. I had a sick brother. So I was like, school's not for me. Only reason I'm still doing it is so I could play in the fall. And that's a lot of athletes, I think, too.
Yeah.
But to y'all out there who only going to school to play, understand less than 0.1% of y'all going to the league, so you better find a backup plan.
Yeah, you see it with baseball players all the time. That's what I played, and especially kids that get drafted out of high school. Their whole identity is tied to baseball, and they get out of it, and they're falling into depression and drugs and alcohol, and it's not good. Not as much for guys coming out of college, coming out with scholarships and things like that, or degrees and things. It's a little bit easier for them to fall back when it doesn't work out. But yeah, it's crazy the mental side of things that kind of get screwed up along the way for athletes when their identity's tied to it and it's stripped away from them real quick.
Quick, man. That's what happened. When I found out I couldn't play no more, I'm like, back to the streets, y'all. Going somewhere where they think I'm an all-star. I'll be the life of the party, and get all the praise like I did on the field. Somewhere I got to feed that ego because I don't want to sit with myself and have to deal with it. And that's another thing I would say at 19 is get comfortable with solitude. Be comfortable being alone. You ain't got to be on the screen. You ain't got to be on the video game. You ain't got to be with your friends. You ain't got to be at every party. Be comfortable with being alone. Find something you like to do alone. Painting, writing, exercise, create, building, something you like to do on your own. So humble, solitude, and then faith too. Faith in something greater. Not only faith in something greater, faith in yourself. And I think that's what breeds authenticity. You have faith in yourself to build confidence, but faith in something greater to keep you humble. You have this middle ground of like, I got this, but if I don't, I'm good.
And you mentioned finding that while you were in jail, correct?
Yeah, that was the initial point that pushed me on that path. But then it was just work, man. Just work, reflection, reading, conversation, reflection, reading, conversation. And when the student's ready, the teacher appears. But you'll never be able to lead if you can't follow the path that's not there. And that's when you know you're in the right place. When you're on a path, you're like, I'm not sure where I'm at. You're present because you have to be present to know where you're going. That's the comfort zone expansion. If you don't know where you're going, that's where you really find who you are. Because like we said, under pressure, under stress, under love, under excitement, your true character shows. Those are all comfort zone. Those feelings and emotional states are all things that push us outside of our comfort zone, somewhere we've never been, or maybe we have in a similar sense. But being able to be yourself and keep the faith, I think is what would have helped really, push through all those things I ran from. I didn't have faith.
Yeah.
I just left. I'm like, fuck this. They want me everywhere.
Yeah, we've had a few, but we have a few friends. One we've had on the show. Actually, they're twins that also wound up in prison for things, and their biggest thing is tied to their faith, and even with where they're at now, they're both very, very successful at what they did, or what they do, and they keep falling back to the faith and the higher power. I mean, is that something that you feel is like in your belief, you feel like that's something that everybody should look into, is finding that higher power, maybe not religious, going too deep into religion, but some sort of higher power to keep you humble.
Something, man, and it doesn't even have to be like that. It can be humanity. It could be your family. It could be your legacy.
Is that something that what is your higher power that you?
Mine is the similarities between all of us, but also I think whatever I was put here to do, and I think there is a greater source, a greater power that connects us all, and I don't know where it started. Tadpoles, monkeys, right. Adam and Eve, whatever the hell, Big Bang, whatever the hell. Maybe it's all true, but I do believe that we all have a gift, and society's intention is to keep us from that gift and to keep us in a worker's mentality. So without having that faith, man, what are you really looking for? You're looking for possessions, achievements, looks, money, status, and all that shit's going to change. So you ain't never going to be happy, because once you get those things, you're going to want more. And if everybody had what we have right now, you wouldn't even want it. That's the type of life we live in. If everybody had this sweater, people are like, nah, I don't want this no more.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody got this car. I don't want it now. Oh, I lived here for 2 years. I want to leave. But we wanted everything we have right now. That's why we got it. It's a result of what we wanted. And so we go from wanting it to having it, but never appreciating we have it, to wanting more, just like that. And then we get old. So finding that gift, it makes you go inside, into the present, into the now, and what you actually have. That's not material. It's your characteristics. It's what you know. It's your knowledge plus what your passion is, what lights you up, and then how you provide that perspective to people, I think is the gift,